Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. My name is Ash, and today I'm doing a retro review for Disney's Aladdin on the Super Nintendo console. Now, this was released way back in November of 1993, and it was published and developed by Capcom. Now, at the time, this obviously was based on the 1992 film of the same name, which is one of the best Disney animated films out there, but there was also a different version that was released around the same time for the Sega Genesis or the Sega Mega Drive if you're from the UK, and that was made by Virgin Games. Now, weirdly, both these ports are made by different companies, have a slightly different take on the game, and should I say the gameplay style, but all in all, they're both actually very decent games. Now, this game is probably my wife's favourite game. And we've recently been replaying it on the SNES, and it's also been added to the Disney Classics game collection, which had Aladdin, The Lion King in previously, but it didn't have the SNES version. They've now added a update which included the Lion King games, but it also includes the Aladdin SNES version as well. So you can now grab that on sort of all modern consoles and PC, and I highly recommend it. It's a very, very good collection of classic Disney style games. Now, Disney's Aladdin is a side-scrolling platforming game, and you basically play as Aladdin as you work through a variety of stages. There are 7 different stages all in. They range from sort of Agrabah, there's the Cave of Wonders, there's sort of like a genie sort of dream sort of segment, or like inside the lamp sort of stage. But the basic gameplay is get from one end to the other without dying. Now, in the Mega Drive game, you do have a sword and you can fight people, whereas in this game, you don't have a sword. You basically have just got apples that you can throw at people to stun them, and then you sort of jump on their heads to sort of knock them out. Now, in each of these levels, there are gems that can be collected, and when you collect a certain amount of them, you gain extra lives as well as points. And there are 10 red gems which are worth more points, located about the stages as well. In each one, there's 10 to find. Now, in each stage, or most of the stages, should I say, there are treasure chests, and you open them up, and a scarab flies out. You know, the gold scarabs. Now, if you catch that, they're only there for a couple of seconds because they fly off. But if you do catch them, you basically get access to like a special spin at the end of the stage, and Genie basically grants you a wish, including like extra lives, or sort of continue stuff like that. So they're well worth finding. Now, you can also get hold of like a. If you have seen the Aladdin film, he jumps out and he holds on to like a rug or something, and it flies. Not the flying carpet, but like he jumps off and he uses it to sort of glide. You can find one of them throughout some of the stages, and you can basically glide, and it makes obviously getting certain items a bit easier, and certain sort of platforming and jumping sections a bit easier as well. And the game is littered with a variety of bosses, including Jafar at the end. Now, I quite like this game. I prefer the Mega Drive game. I'm not going to lie. I grew up with the Mega Drive game. I never had a SNES as a young kid. I only had a Mega Drive, and I quite enjoyed the Aladdin game on that. It had amazing animations, amazing sound, and stuff like that. While the SNES, in my opinion, is not as good. Like, it doesn't have as great animations and graphics, and the lack of some of the areas and the lack of the weapon is a downer. The gameplay itself is still solid. It still looks fantastic. It still sounds fantastic for a SNES game. It's one of my favourite games on the SNES. The stages are really cool. There's a variety to all of them. There's the Cave of Wonders scenes where you're riding the carpet trying not to get killed by the lava and stuff like that. Really, really cool. If you it fits in with the Aladdin mythos perfectly. It's a good tie-in game. Not 100% accurate to obviously the films, but it does look and sound absolutely fantastic. It's difficult for a game of its time. Like I say, it's not as hard as Lion King, but there are some difficult sections in it. But it does have the password system, so you can sort of jump to certain levels. But one thing that I absolutely love about this game is that the designer for it is Shinji Mikami, who, if you don't know who that is, he basically is like the god of Resident Evil. He is now working on Ghostwire Tokyo. He develops that. He's like the head of that company for Xbox. He did what was it called? The Evil Inside or something like that. Those horror games, but he basically is the founder of sort of Resident Evil. He directed the first Resident Evil, the first Dino Crisis. Do you know what I mean? He worked at Platinum Games and directed Vanquish. He's done all sorts of stuff. So he's currently the founder this was his own studio, Tango Games Works, and they were acquired by ZeniMax Media, basically Bethesda, and they've now been purchased by Xbox. And it was The Evil Within that he basically did as well, which is an awesome horror game. I absolutely love his horror game works, but the fact that he worked on a Capcom Aladdin game is absolutely amazing. So it's a really good game. Maybe not as good as the Mega Drive game, but like I say, it's a fantastic game in its own right. So I highly recommend you check it out. But it is available on the Disney Classic Games Collection, and honestly, it's a very good port. It looks fantastic. It's even got the rewind and the autoplay. If you get stuck at a certain section, you're able to sort of have save states and stuff, so it's not as difficult as playing it on the original hardware would be. And obviously it looks great on modern tellies as well. That's the one downside to retro games, is they don't look that fantastic on big widescreen tellies. But check this game out. Like I say, it is an absolute classic, a fantastic tie-in, a fantastic Disney game, and one of the best SNES games I have ever played. But that's that for this video, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and we'll see you soon for more content. Bye for now.